I stand before the vast tapestry of human existence, a witness to the currents of pride that ripple through our modern world, binding us to illusions of certainty and division. I have seen how pride, like a shadow cast across the soul, blinds us to the light of truth. It whispers that we are complete, that we know all there is to know, and in doing so it builds walls around our hearts, shutting out the wisdom that could set us free. I have learned, through long reflection, that the path to true understanding begins with the courage to admit we are incomplete, that our knowledge is but a fleeting glimpse of the eternal. In this age I see a world divided, not by mountains or seas, but by the invisible barriers we erect in our minds. We cling to our tribes, our banners, our teams, as if they define the whole of who we are. I call this the versus mentality, a sickness of spirit that pits us against one another, as though life were a contest where only one side can triumph. I have watched good people turn away from goodness, not because they lack virtue, but because they wear the colors of their chosen side with such fervor that they forget the humanity of those who stand across the divide. It is as if we are spectators at a great game, cheering for our own while scorning the rest, blind to the truth that we are all players in the same unfolding story. I, too, have felt the pull of this mindset, the temptation to see myself as right and others as wrong, to hold my beliefs as unassailable fortresses. But I have come to see that this is the root of our stagnation. When I claim to know all, I learn nothing. When I dismiss another's truth because it challenges my own, I remain trapped in a prison of my own making. The wise heart knows that to grow is to question, to listen, to allow the possibility of being wrong. I have found that the greatest strength lies not in defending my own certainty, but in seeking the truth, even when it humbles me. There is a deeper rhythm to life, one that calls us to see ourselves not as solitary competitors, but as parts of a greater whole. I have learned that the human race is not a collection of warring factions, but a single family bound by shared hopes and struggles. When I look into the eyes of another, I see not an enemy, but a reflection of my own longing for meaning, for connection, for truth. To live in this awareness is to abandon the versus mentality, to set aside pride and embrace the humility that opens the door to wisdom. I have seen how pride feeds the illusion of perfection, how it tricks us into believing we are finished works, immune to error. Yet I know now that to be human is to be imperfect, to be ever growing, ever learning. The one who claims to have all the answers has already lost the way. I have met those who cling to falsehoods, not because they love lies, but because they fear the vulnerability of admitting they were wrong. They align themselves with causes, with parties, with identities, and in their loyalty, they sacrifice their integrity. I, too, have felt the pull of belonging, the comfort of standing with a group that claims to hold the truth. But I have learned that no group, no system, no banner can contain the whole of truth. To follow blindly is to forsake the very freedom I seek. I say to you now, if you wish to escape the prison of falsehood, the matrix of illusion that binds our world, the path is simpler than you might imagine. It is not found in chasing secret knowledge or embracing fleeting trends. It is found in seeking the truth with an open heart and living by it with unwavering courage. To seek truth is to question what you hold dear, to test your beliefs against the fire of reason and experience. To live by truth is to act with integrity, to let your actions align with what you know to be right, even when it costs you. And to act on truth is to step beyond the versus mentality, to see others not as opponents, but as fellow seekers on the same journey. I have walked this path and found it both humbling and liberating. I have learned to listen to voices that challenge me, to consider ideas that unsettle my assumptions. I have learned that virtue is not the property of one side or another, but a universal call that echoes in every heart. When I act with love, with decency, with integrity, I'm not choosing a team. I am choosing to be human. I am choosing to honor the spark of the eternal that lives in me and in all others. Let us then cast aside the pride that blinds us. Let us abandon the versus mentality that divides us. Let us seek the truth, not to prove ourselves right, but to grow closer to the good. I have seen societies falter under the weight of their own arrogance, but I have also seen the power of humility to heal, to unite, to transform. When we admit we do not know everything, we open ourselves to learning. When we see others as part of our shared humanity, we build bridges instead of walls. And when we live by the truth we find, we step out of the shadows of illusion and into the light of a world made whole. I speak to you now not as one who has mastered this path, but as one who walks it still. I stumble, I err, I learn, and in learning I find hope. For I believe that if we together can embrace this way, seeking truth, living with humility, and acting with love, we can free ourselves from the chains of pride and division. We can escape the matrix of falsehood, not by fleeing the world, but by transforming it, one truthful step at a time.